All right, so let's go over this portable carports. Mainly this carport. Let me explain to you something about this carport, the steel one. Okay, so you've seen during the maintenance, if you've been following about the shelter logic and the portable carport, I have, these are my boat ties. These are my boat ties that come all the way around to cinder blocks, and I'm okay with the cinder blocks that are buried underneath the snow, that with the wind this hasn't moved. Now I have them tied to the fence, wrapped around to cinder blocks over there, and I have them, this is the big empty space in the middle of the shelter logic where you see I have them, this is a little cheaper one, tied in the middle, so when you got to push up with your I use my roof rake to push it all up to get it out of here. That's what keeps the weight off of that. And then once you have it off one time with the wind, it normally does keep it off. Well, now this ain't about that. This is about that carport right here. Okay, so that carport settled. And one thing about buying that carport is I wish I would have bought the wider one. And let me tell you why. I was cheap in the beginning and I bought the 12-foot one instead of the 20. That's actually 21 feet from there to there. And of course the solar panels wouldn't be there, they'd be somewhere else. But by buying a smaller one, I have 7 feet to 9 feet of dead space that nothing gets done with, although I do capture sun with that dead space. Okay, but if I would have bought the wider one, even with the 12-foot sliding gate, we could have put 2 cars under it. So first kick in the butt with this steel carport is I didn't buy a wider one. Okay, but now they settle. Since there's no concrete foundation in here in the bottom of it, the carports do settle. So it's settled where it was running back this way. Now when you put your carport on, you overlap the steel in the middle, you overlap it, the flow of the water. So the water is supposed to be flowing outward. The water, the snow, the rain flows outward, because if you overlap it the opposite way, the steel line, it's gonna sit on top of the carport and flow the opposite way. See, so you see everything's put on to flow that way. All right, so seeing that we've had it for 3 or 4 years already, it started to settle. Where when it started to settle, because this isn't a concrete floor, this is just a sidewalk and dirt, this was the lowest spot. It started settling in this corner over here. So instead of the rain flowing that way, the rain was flowing this way and kind of building a puddle around here whenever it would rain. So this past summer I raised this and it flows that way. Okay, I didn't raise this all the way up, I raised this a smidgen up. So what I created now was a backflow on this seam that should be flowing that way. The backflow is the snow sitting up here, going under here and coming back this way, which is freezing and creating a sheet of ice right here. You see I got salt all on it right there. That's how thick the water is. It's dripping there right still. So when you're putting up your hardcore canopies, your steel canopy, for one, get the biggest one you're gonna think you're gonna need. I looked at extending this one. I called the company to extend it, and they recommend if it's a solid structure and if it's been in there for years, they don't want to add to it, they don't want to alter it. They say you're better off with a new carport because that's been like that way, sitting that way for years, and to extend it they don't want to jeopardize the integrity of the carport. So this right here's this for now. Eventually I'm gonna have a carport go all the way to the garage, or knock the garage down and have the garage come all the way this way, or just add on to the garage. Stay tuned for that channel. But this was about the carports, and I always tell you, you know, in Chicago it's limited parking, especially with snow dibs. If you haven't heard of snow dibs, look it up, where we always keep extra free space, so if the kids and grandkids come to visit us, we could pull that car back and we got an extra space, and we don't mess with anybody's snow dibs, and everybody's okay in the front. All right, talk to you later. Subscribe, like, and share.